Dragonslayers. Rescue Mission. Squad Sparkle on the move. Search Day 12. Frostmane cursed under her breath while Pinkie directed their slayer away from Ponyville. The rest of Squad Sparkle was following her in a formation that would look like a panicked retreat to any pony who was not in on the plan. Now she was glad to have taken the time to come up with an escape plan. At the time, she had just seen it as an annoyance. The captain of Squad Sparkle was also glad that her slayer's stabilizers were intact. Pinkie Pie was a natural at piloting, evading attack after attack by jumping around in unpredictable patterns. One of her subordinates was worrying Frostmane, however. Sparkle 6 was lagging behind considerably. Had it not been for their air support, they would have been overwhelmed already. Frostmane had to make a decision fast, or they would be forced to leave them behind. Closing her eyes, she abandoned safety and decided that they would have to fight after all.
Sparkle 1 to all units, turn around and support Sparkle 6. Sparkle Wing 126, take out their flyers,
she ordered. Pinkie didn't respond, but Sparkle 1 instantly turned around, rushing towards Sparkle 6. The other units followed suit, forming an arrowhead formation. Their attackers noticed this too late, and their enemy units lost their balance as the more experienced pilots of Squad Sparkle tackled them. 8 enemy units were now down for the count. Sparkle 4 and 5 broke out of the formation to finish them off with their swords. 4 more were fighting Sparkle 6. Shining Armor was doing well in keeping them at bay, but even he was not fast enough to block each and every strike. While their swords shone in the moonlight, Pegasi and Griffins fought for air dominance above. When the 3 reached Sparkle 6, 2 of the enemy units turned around to face them. With a burst from their aft thrusters, Sparkle 2 and 3 raced ahead of Sparkle 1 to meet them, their swords already drawn. Frostmane and Pinkie dashed past them, raising their slayer's right arm. 2 shots from their magical energy cannon all but disintegrated the upper compartment of the slayer behind Sparkle 6. With its energy source gone, that slayer fell to the ground like a marionette which strings had been cut. With only one opponent left, Sparkle 6's left hand shot out, grabbing the raised arm of his last attacker. He didn't give them any time to react. In a swift motion, Shining Armor thrust the double blade in his slayer's right hand into the upper pilot's compartment. The last of the enemy units went silent as Shining Armor withdrew his blade. Without missing a beat, Frostmane ordered.
Mystique, Candy Cane, disembark and assist the wings. Melon and Sugar, you two go and check if these pilots are still alive. I'd like to get some answers.
Mystique strapped her combat knife and holster to her hip after confirming her orders.
Wish me luck,
she whispered seductively into the intercom so only Seacloud could hear her.
Just come back in one piece, okay?
He replied in a resigned tone of voice. This snapped Mystique out of her playful mood. She was dead serious as she spoke her next words.
I promise.
After this brief exchange between the married couple, Sparkle 3's hatch opened and Mystique took off with a flap of her wings. Before joining Dragon Base 1's Pegasus force, she had been stationed on Celestia Island, especially trained to fight griffins. It was time to put her special training to the test. Flapping her wings rhythmically, she closed in on the first of several aerial battles. 10 griffins had cornered 4 members of her wing. The 3 mares and Soul Stallion were outnumbered and slowly tiring. They had only survived this long, Mystique knew from her time on Celestia Island, because they were smaller and more agile. She tackled the first griffin just as it wanted to sink its claws into the back of a white Pegasus mare. While pushing the larger creature away from its target, her tail wrapped itself around the handle of her knife. A quick flick of her tail later, it had flown a short distance and found a new home in a griffin's throat. Seeing her first victim plummet to the ground, she bit down on the wing of the griffin with all her might. The hollow bone broke easily between her jaws, and her target let out an agonized squawk before she dislodged herself from it. Just as Mystique wanted to draw her firearm with her snout, a burning pain raged through her left flank.
Stupid,
she thought as she went into a controlled dive to shake off the griffin that had clawed at her flank.
Forgot the first rule of combat. Don't let a griffin catch you.
She berated herself mentally as the ground rushed up to meet her. She closed her eyes, anticipating a great deal of pain. Just a few hoofs over the ground, Mystique pulled up. As she expected, the pain in her flank increased, but not as much as it should have. She looked back, seeing that her opponent lay in a crushed pile of meat on the forest floor. She was lucky, and she knew it. Had the griffin succeeded in sinking in its claws completely, this maneuver would have ripped her cutie mark right off. Hiding in a tree for a moment, Mystique pulled out a small can out of a pocket of her uniform. She hesitated, but seeing one of her Pegasus companions fall, forced the can to her lips. Mystique swallowed the bitter combat drug, instantly feeling its effects. Her pain was washing away, and she felt as if she could take on an Ursa Major single-hoofedly as she lifted off again. A small shower of red droplets followed in her wake. First off, for every pony who wants to know how a griffin can operate a slayer, I will tell you right now how that works. And if you don't want to know, if you want to wait until you see it in a chapter, then turn off right now. Because it's pretty simple. What do they use for an energy source? An undead unicorn. Forcibly connecting it to the slayer to provide the energy. Just for everyone who's doubting my writing abilities here. Okay, and let's go on with the discussion time. What do I have to say about this? Well, I wrote it. What I want to know about you is, what I want to know from you is, what do you think about it? The Griffins obviously have, well, found slayers in that research facility. Maybe it's even the place where the slayers have been, well, built? Made? Sincerely yours, Visual Pony, and let me hear your opinion on this.